Good day, everyone. I am Rose Bensi Barcita. I will be your reporter in this novel entitled Hello Sadness, but in French it is called Bonjour Tristesse, written by Francoise Sagan. So here is the content of my report. We have the background, the author, the setting, the characters, the plot, the theme, and lastly, the character analysis. So let's proceed to the background of this novel. So the background of this novel, Bonjour Tristesse, which means hello sadness. Because I know we are all familiar that when we say bonjour in French, it means hello. And then the tristesse in French, when we are going to translate it in English, it means sadness. Second one, this novel is written by Francoise Sagan. It was published in French in 1954. And this story is about jealousy, sophisticated 17-year-old girl who meddles her father's impending remarriage, the tragic consequence. So later on, we will know what are the tragic consequences that happened in this novel. Next is the author of this story. Like what I said earlier, the author of this story is Francoise Sagan. So I know that there is another reporter that can give you the whole information about this author. But let me give you some of the information about her. Francoise Sagan is born on June 21, 1935 in Cahors, France. She was died on September 24, 2004 in Henfleur, France. She is a French author, the writer of 20 novels, 3 short story collections, 9 plays, and 15 autobiographical works, including 8 published after her death. She also wrote the biographies of Brigitte Bardot and Sarah Bernhardt. So the setting of this story where the scene happened, mostly the scene happened is in French Riviera. So French Riviera is a beautiful resort in France. And in France or in French, they call this resort Côte d'Azur. So it is located in Mediterranean coast of southeastern France. So here are the characters in this novel. The first one is Cecile. So Cecile is the narrator. She is a 17-year-old girl who lives a very plenty and unrestricted life. So she dates the friends of her father and a lot of men in her life. The next one is Raymond. So Raymond is Cecile's father, a man still young, cheerful, preferring a society of cheerful, though not very educated and intelligent man. The next one is Elsa. So Elsa is Raymond's girlfriend. She has red hair and is much younger than Raymond. Cecile sees her as simple and friendly. She's as plenty as Raymond and Cecile. Next is Anne. Anne was friend of Cecile's late mother and is cool, calm, intelligent, and beautiful. The lastly is Cyril. Is a young man in his 20s that Cecile meets on vacation. He's a law student spending the summer with his mother. He's kind and agreeable. So let's proceed to the plot of this story. So disclaimer lang guys, I didn't get or I can get the whole information of this story, which is the book of this story, because the reason why I can get it is written in French language. So of course it is really hard to understand. But of course, with the help of Google, with the help of internet, I get the summary of this novel that translated in English. So I hope that I can give you the information I can tell you what is the novel all about. So to begin with this story, so Cecile is a 17-year-old girl who is indulged by her careless father Raymond. He keeps a string of a young mistresses whom he doesn't really care about and allows Cecile to do whatever she wants while he's distracted. For example, she regularly go to Paris to pass the time partying with friends. She tries to seduce older men. She left boarding school to pursue a life with more pleasure. So imagine guys how young Cecile in this story to do a lot of things like that. So she can get everything she wants. Doing something is her best way to be distracted of what her dad doing. So in other words, the dad of Cecile in this story, they give what everything Cecile wants while he was having a different mistresses in his life. So Cecile and her father and his mistresses Elsa travel to the Mediterranean. Cecile says father rented a large, white, isolated, beautiful villa there. They spend time soaking in the water and enjoying the sun. After 6 days, Cecile meets Cyril. They spend time together. He offered to teach her sailing. She says that she prepared friends of her father until she met him. So when the summer comes, Cecile, Raymond, and Elsa having a vacation to the Mediterranean. So the name of the resort here is French Riviera, which is in French they called it Côte d'Azur. So Raymond rented a white, large, isolated, beautiful villa there. So after they stay here more than 6 days, Cecile meet Cyril. So nung na-meet na ni Cyril na-meet na ni si Cyril, medyo nagkakaroon na sila ng more time together and naisipan ni Cyril na turuan mag-sailing si Cecile. So next is the rising action of this novel. So things change when Anne visits the villa. Unlike her father's young mistresses, Anne is an older, worldly, and a friend of Cecile's departed mother. She tries to make Cecile more grow up. She recommends that she gain weight and that she do work while they are there to the summer. She wants Cecile to resume her education. So, for your information guys, in-invite ni Raymond si Anne sa villa na yon. And then, on the arrival of Anne, there is a small misunderstanding. So, si Raymond and Elsa go to meet her at the station. But, after waiting there for a while and not seeing anyone, hindi nila nakita si Anne sa station kung saan sila nag-iintay, they return home. So, where Anne is already waiting for them, it turned out that she did not come by train. So, hindi siya nag-commute, but by her own car. So, dinala niya yung sarili niyang sasakyan. So, Anne is located in one of the rooms of the villa. So, kumbaga, tumuloy si Anne sa villa na yon pero in separate room. So, while staying at the villa, the atmosphere there was gradually changing between Anne and Elsa. So, they begin silent competition. They have a silent competition. The hot Mediterranean sun does not have the best effect on the appearance of Elsa. Her skin turned red. Lakes, unlike Anne, on the contrary, looks delicious. She tanned, became even more beautiful, even slimming. So, nagkaroon na ng silent competition between the two, between Anne and Elsa. So, as a description in this, diba sa Mediterranean, of course, it's summer, it's hot. So one night in Cannes, Cecile noticed that her father pays more attention to Anne than to Elsa. So one of the changes happened when Anne is staying at the villa is yung pagkakaroon or yung mas nabibigyan na siya ng attention ni Raymond than kay Elsa. So remember guys that si Elsa is the currently girlfriend of Raymond in this novel. So she threatens to tell Elsa of their private talk and both Anne and her father react with anger. So nung that night nung napansin ni Cecile na yun na nga mas nagiging close na yung si Raymond and then si Anne, eh sinabi niya na sasabihin niya kay Elsa kung ano yung napapansin niya. But hindi pumayag or nagalit yung papa niya and then si Anne sa kanya nung sinabi niya yon. And then they promised to tell Elsa the next morning. So sabi ni yung papa niya is nag-promise sila kay Cecile na pwede niya nang sabihin next morning. So Cecile tells Elsa, who cries and says she will come to pick up her bags. Cecile feels like she lost an old friend. So nung sinabi ni Cecile kay Elsa na ganun na nga parang may secret relationship na yung papa niya, mas nagiging more close na yung papa niya and then si Anne, syempre of course nasaktan si Elsa. And then nung nasaktan na siya, umalis na siya ng villa, hindi niya na nadala yung gamit niya, kaya sabi niya kay Cecile na babalikan niya na lang daw yung mga gamit niya na nasa villa. And then si Cecile na feel niya na parang nawalan siya ng isang kaibigan kasi si Elsa and Cecile close na din sila, parang isa yun sa mistresses ng papa niya na naging close niya. So parang nanghinayang siya sa nabuong relationship niya kasama si Elsa. So the climax of this novel is when Anne catches Cyril and Cecile together, she forbids them from continuing to see each other. She says that Cecile is 17 and she won't let her ruin her life. She talks to Cecile's father and he agreed that they shouldn't see each other again, that Cecile should do work during the summer. So, young people spend quite a lot of time together, which is si Cecile nga at saka si Cyril. And they have a feeling more profound than just friendship. So, mas parang parang yung relationship ni Cecile and ni Cyril is more than friendship na. Parang sa ganong stage na. Cecile is ready for physical intimacy with a young man. She is quite happy with the moment. But one day, Anne noticed them together when they are laying half neck on the ground. And she tells Cyril that he does not come to Cecile anymore. Hindi niya na pwedeng makita si Cecile anymore kahit kailan. Kasi nga, parang, so, di ba imagine guys na Cecile is too young para gawin yung mga ganong bagay. So, at the places the girl behind textbook because she needs to prepare for the bachelor exam in philosophy, which she once failed and most surrender it again in the fall. So sinabi ni Anne kay Cyril na magfo-focus muna si Cecile sa pag-take ng bachelor exam in philosophy. So Cecile is indignant at Anne's behavior. So parang hindi na nagugustuhan ni Cecile yung behavior ni Anne. So, she had bad thought in her head. So, parang nagkakaroon na nga siya ng ibang feeling, nagkakaroon na siya ng hindi magandang pag-iisip si Cecile kay Anne. She scolds herself for them, but she cannot get rid of them although she understands Anne. So, after what happened to Cecile and Cyril, na pinagbawalan na silang magkita, so hindi na sila nakikitang madalas. And then, when the times na bumalik si Elsa sa villa para kunin yung mga gamit niya doon, sinabi sa kanya ni Cecile na si Anne and her father are getting married na. So, parang doon nagkaroon ng plano, parang sinabi ni Cecile yung plano niya kay Elsa na parang paghiwalayin si Anne, and then si Raymond. So the next is Cecile then scheme with Cyril and Elsa to break off Anne and Raymond. She coaxes Raymond into being jealous or a fake affair between Elsa and Cyril. When he approaches Elsa and take her into an embrace, Anne sees and it's devastated. Cecile suddenly realized that she wasn't just scheming against some entity and understands that Anne is a human who grows through the stage of life and love her father. So, yun nga, parang nagkaroon ng plano si Cecile na paghiwalayin yung papa niya and then si Anne. So, this plan is quite possible. Everything goes like notes. Elsa and Cecile play their role while the blows hit the target. So, ayun nga, parang ang plano nila is pagsilosen yung papa ni Cecile na may relasyon si Elsa and si Cyril. Raymond reacts as Cecile supposed. The daughter is happy that her plan is being implemented. But in her heart, she realized that she is not right. That this is possible to do with Anne. After all, Anne loves her father and mostly importantly, and the father loves her and sincerely ready to change her way of life for her. So, ayun nga, as suddenly, na-realize ni Cecile na parang hindi tamang gawin yun kay Anne kasi, feeling niya naman, mahal talaga ni Anne yung father niya. But Cecile cannot change anything. Hindi niya na pwedeng baguhin yung plano niya. And does not want to. She is interested to know how well she understands people, whether she is able to identify their weaknesses and predict their action in general, how successful she is in the role of director. Meanwhile, Cecile can no longer tell Elsa and Cyril that she is deceived them, that Raymond really fell out of love with Elsa. So, parang doon, hindi niya na pwedeng sabihin, or hindi niya na pwedeng baguhin kung ano man yung naging plano nila. Diba nung at the first, sinabi ni Cecile kay Elsa na siya talaga yung mahal ni Raymond para lang pumayag si Elsa sa plano niya. But in the end, sinabi ni Raymond na si Anna na talaga yung mahal niya. So, let's proceed to the following action of this novel. So, Cecile begs Anne to stay, but she leaves. Raymond is devastated at her going as well. They plan to contact her and bring her back, but then find out that her car went over the edge of the cliff. It was a dangerous area where she went over, but they can't be sure that she didn't choose to do so. Though a nurse say it was the sixth accident there that summer, when Cecile sees Cyril again, she realized that she never loved him. So, let's proceed to the resolution of this novel. At first, they both mourn Anne, but eventually Cecile and Raymond go on with their indulgent lives. Thought they don't rent the same villa again. Cecile says that sometimes late at night, she thinks of Anne and feels sadness. And the old life begins easy, full of pleasure and entertainments. When Cecile meets his father, they laugh, telling each other about their love triumph. They think they are happy again, but sometimes at dawn, when the young Cecile is still in bed, and only the noise of cars is heard in the street of Paris, she remember the past summer, and she again feel a feeling of pursuing her with insinuating anguish, this feeling of sadness. So the theme of this novel are classicist, inevitable,
inevitable means as certain to happen, unavoidable. Like in this novel that the love of Raymond to Anne is unavoidable kasi hindi natin pwedeng pigilan kung ano man yung nararamdaman natin. Also, the theme of this novel is immutable behavior of people regardless of its amorality. So, when we say amorality, someone who does not care if his or her action are right or wrong, or action that show a lack of care about what is morally right. So, di ba, in this story, yung action ni Cecile, hindi niya inisip if makakatulong ba ito, mabuti ba ito o mali. So, in the end, dun siya nagsisi sa kung ano man yung ginawa niyang action for Anne. Next is the character analysis of this novel. The first one is Cecile. She has lived with her father for the past 3 years, and before that she was in convert school for a break of each year, spending the summer with him in Paris. Her mother had died when she was just a tiny child. So the next one is Raymond. Raymond, he is a rich and secure in his work, loves women and partying, wild nightlife, and rather shallow pleasures. Eating, drinking, making merry, and making love as often as possible with as many lovely women as he can. Next is Anne. Anne is 2 years older than Cecile's father and a close friend of her mother in past years. In fact, after the death of her mother and before Cecile was entrusted to the care of the convert school, Anne cared to Cecile for a number of years. So here are the references where I get all the information that include in my presentation. And this is end of my presentation. I hope that you understand what the novel all about. Thank you and God bless as always.